Super League 16, and that's the situation here at half-time in the second match of the four-game jamboree we've got for you today. Harlequins 10, Catalan Dragons 0. Still to come, of course, Wakefield Castleford when this one is finished, and then a repeat of the grand final, Wigan and St Helens, which will kick off at 7 o'clock, and we will be with you right the way through. Hope you're enjoying it on HD and in 3D for the first time this year. We've already seen Huddersfield beat Warrington. The Catalan Dragons are on their way out for the second half. Harlequins, their opponents, 3 wins in the weekend fixtures. They're bang on course for number 4. Can they hang on in the second half? Can they build on the 10-0 lead they have? Back to the commentary box, and Bill is the leader of the gang.
Yes, Magic Weekend has been good for Harlequins. It's been a good start to the weekend for them so far, or a good first half anyway. But Catalan Dragons maybe will take encouragement from the way they limited Harlequins' progress after they went into that 10-0 lead after only 6 minutes and began to create opportunities themselves, opportunities they couldn't take advantage of, but nevertheless they did get a few positives out of the game towards the end of the first half, and that's what they'll be looking to build on. But it's Quins who'll get us underway in the second half. And Green Shields serves it up for Jamil Fakir, and there's a reception committee for the big French international Fakir. It was rumoured that he'd be moving to rugby union during the winter, but nothing came of that, and he's decided to stick with the Catalan Dragons. Menzies bowling that ball to Henderson, and Henderson alert to the opportunity.
Well, I think the new Catalan coach, Trent Robinson, will have wanted some sort of a response from his side. At times it was lethargic, certainly was undisciplined and uncontrolled, and lost possession far too often now. With 3 strong runs, they're almost at the halfway line to start this second 40.
Don't come up on the ball, Rob.
Scott Durow puts the kick in, and Luke Dawn is there to field it. Rod Studd down on the sidelines with some half-time news now.
Well, let's start with the news about Setimata Sarr, Bill. He was knocked unconscious and is, pretty woozy, but the doctors have had a look at him. He's okay, he's fit enough to stay here watching the game, but that's all he'll be doing, watching. He won't be going back out for the second half, and the Catalan Dragons looking to show a little bit more composure near the try line when they do get into those threatening positions. As far as Rob Powell is concerned, very happy with his first 40 minutes as a Super League coach, very happy with the first 6 or 7 minutes, that's for sure. He said that he's really happy with the way his team is defended. He's just looking to put on more points when they do get into the Catalan's red zone, and really to play the game in the Catalan Dragons half.
Well, they're booting the ball into the Catalan Dragons half now, and Clint Greenshields wearing those very noticeable yellow boots returns it, and now it's with Damien Blanche. Always looking to get involved, Blanche.
Well, we've gone end to end, haven't we, with those first 2 sets of possession. Catalan players again, though, I think a little slow in getting back. There isn't a sense of urgency that I think should be visible when you're 10 points to 0 down. Here's Lapini Peya. Good footwork there now, penetrating down the middle of the field.
Lapini Peya, though, just struggling to get to his feet, and he's looks like a bit of cramp from Lapini Peya. One of 3 brothers playing professional rugby league at the moment. Brother Mickey, well known, of course. Scott Durow now. Durow just chips the kick very nicely. They're keeping it alive on the last, and Menzies likewise. Greenshields, it's Henderson now across the field, and then with the outside of the boot, but it's straight into the arms of Jamie O'Callaghan, and the Irish international will run it back. Tackled though by Jamil Fakir. Tony Clubb now. Clubb gets the pass away to Nick Kuparitsas. Over the halfway line. Referee calls held. Bailey it is who plays the ball. Shad Randall snapped up by his opposite number, Scott Durow. Here's Howell, but Howell slipped as he took the pass from Kuparitsas. Couldn't make any progress. It's on the last now, and it's with Randall. Randall hoists that kick, but he was under pressure, and should be comfortable for Greenshields, but it was right underneath his own posts, and he diffused the situation, and it's a tap on the 20.
Luke Dawn was chasing really hard on that kick. He actually stood behind the kicker and chased as hard as he could. Green Shields, he caught that behind the line in the touch 20 tap.
Catalan trying to get a bit of pace into their play there, looking for a quick play the ball, and Henderson couldn't quite get that. Green Shields, though, little scampering run from him, and Duro is in support. He was looking for somebody on his shoulder. Gigot couldn't get there in time, but there is Gigot picking the ball up one-handed. Good pass from him to Remy Casti. That's the fifth tackle, right in front of those posts, about 12 metres out. Gigot stabs a little kick in, and O'Callaghan will have to run that one dead and concede the goal line dropouts.
Well, the Dragonons look a different side to the one we saw in the first 40 minutes. You know, greater pace, urgency, and nice piece of skill there to force a repeated set of possession. They had less of the ball in the first half than the Harlequins side. They want to make sure they dominate possession to give themselves the chance to dominate on the scoreboard.
Harlequins taking their time about getting the game underway again, but surely the Catalan coach Trent Robinson will be pleased with the way his side have responded. Much more urgency about this Dragon side, and there it is from Jamil Fakir. And Fakir takes some stopping. It's Burnett who made the tackle. The Pinipier is recovered from that knock he got, or the cramp it was. Henderson, short ball from him to Remy Casti. Just signed a new 4-year deal, Remy Casti, a future leader of the side, according to Trent Robinson. Pinipier right underneath those posts now. Now they go wide. Menzies, oh, and Blanche couldn't take that pass as it dipped down by his toes. And Farad didn't know whether to go for that, left it for Blanche.
Well, this is where they do need a degree of patience here. Pass is thrown, again, dips in front of the winger, very little chance. But from a positive side for Harlequins, they did have enough defenders standing in the right place to handle the threat that was presented at them.
Damien Blanche got a couple of tries against Harlequins for Wakefield last year, and Catalan would be delighted if he could repeat that sort of feat in this game. They need something. They've had the possession, they've had the territory as well, but they just haven't had the final pass to capitalise on that. And as long as that continues, then Harlequins will survive. But when you think that Harlequins scored all their points in the first 6 minutes of the game, and they haven't really threatened the Catalan defence since then.
They're starting to threaten though now, the Catalans, with their defence here. They're getting back on side, they're getting up towards the likes of Chris Bailey here, slamming him on the ground, gaining more control.
He felt that as well, did Bailey. Flinches as he gets to the ground, gets from the ground. That's a good kick, and Green Shields just manages to get to it before it finds touch. It would have been a 40-20. Ollie Wilkes has...
Yeah, wait. You can get up, Clint. Go.
Well, he's struggling to get to his feet. Looks like a shoulder problem for Wilkes.
Move. Go.
But he's back on his feet. He was involved in the chase there, Ollie Wilkes, and just slipped going down there. Took a bang. It's another good kick, and Melling, well, concedes the touch there. Chasing back. Gigot, though, not happy with himself.
Well, was it an attempt to 40-20? I just want to take another look at, was he inside? He was.
Come on, boys.
Nice idea. He's about 4 metres perhaps short of that 20-metre line. Well, maybe 3. Very close to it.
Still 10-0 to the Harlequins. Catalan and Harlequins ending last season in miserable form. In fact, you have to go back to August the 1st for the Catalan Dragons' last win in Super League. And Harlequins similarly poor at the end of last season.
Pulled him back in. Go.
So a good start would be a big boost for the winner here today between the two sides who finished bottom of the table last year.
Pretty good defence though by Catalans. They really have upped the tempo in that department. They needed to it. The Quins having no opportunity to get any good field position to launch any attack at all. Maybe a chip over the top, something a little bit different.
Mike Burnett shown up well for his new club, the former Hull player. Randall, head down, into the thick of it, where he's used to being. That's the 5th tackle though. Here's Gale, and Gale kick over the top into a good bit of open space, but Greenshields is across to field the ball. Bailey there to make the tackle.
It's a good, solid defensive line from the Quins to greet him. And they seem intent now to keep the Catalan side down at their end of the pitch and try and put some pressure on them. That's what the Quins are good at, squeezing the life out of teams.
If the winners from the first game are anything to go by, the hooker and halfback, or scrum half I should say, in a game of league have a massive significance. The 4 tries scored by Huddersfield, 2 tries by the hooker, 2 tries by a scrum half. Really now the question will be, can Henderson, Duro do for Catalan what the Huddersfield partnership could do? Henderson is a dangerous player, we've seen him previously do it. At the moment he's not had the impact. Here's Scott Duro with a chip over.
But well read by Rob Purdham, and Purdham saw what was coming there, moved into the right position and gathered the ball, and now looking for the penalty. Well, the Harlequin supporters were anyway. Here is Melling now. Duro with a little chip over the top.
Well, if you think of the 2 last kicks that Catalan have made, both have been high risk but inventive options, an attempted 40-20 and a chip over the top. They're prepared to take some risks here. With 30 minutes left in the game, they do have the time, just two scores behind, 2 converted tries behind.
Bailey now, that's the 5th tackle. Needs to be a good kick. It'll come from Gale, and Gale drills it down the sidelines, and it's a neat one. Into the corner and pushing Catalan back where Harlequins hope to keep them.
He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to slow the game down, keep Camp down at this end of the pitch, and Luke Gale cuts a fine angle. He doesn't care how many metres he gets as long as the ball goes off the island. He has chance to regroup. The Quins can have a bit of a conflab and again just re-energise and get some more enthusiasm for the defensive side of what they're doing today.
It's a head and feed to the Catalan Dragons, but just about on their own 10-metre line from that kick from Gale.
You know what, Bill, we're going to find out in this next minute of possession here whether the half-time speech that Trent Robinson really had any lasting effect. For 10 minutes, sometimes it influences what players do, but can it affect longer? And I think it has here now. Look, Steve Menzies offloading down that right-hand side. With a quicker play of the ball, do they have the players backing up here now in support?
Well, Harlequins certainly getting through some grueling defensive work, tiring defensive work, as Catalan Dragons look to rescue the situation here, trailing by 10 points. Lapini Pia has shown up well since he came on the field. Remember, Setamatasar stretched it off. Well, Scott Duro just getting a little bit ambitious there with that reverse underhand pass.
Well, an excellent option. It didn't come off. It's certainly a different team to the one we saw in the first 40 as Harlequins now go wide with Danny Ward.
Clubb has taken a bang after he got that pass away. He's down on his haunches in back play as play continues. Randall now, beg your pardon, Kuparitsis just slipping as he took the ball into the collision. Luke Gale finds Rob Purdham, and Purdham, that's the 5th tackle. The Castleford Tigers and Wakefield Trinity Wildcat supporters warming up just across the other side of the stadium here in Cardiff, ready for their confrontation later on, or their side's confrontation. That's great work from Gale, right in the face of Greenshields as he took that pass. And then Blanche is hounded down.
Well, more often than not, the hungriest team in a game of rugby league go on to win it, and at the moment Harlequins seem to have a greater desire than the French rivals. The chase there on that kick was a typical example here. One-man carry for Catalan, little support around. Is it Sebastian Martin?
It's Ferriol who's back on the field, and fiery character David Ferriol sent off against Quins last season as Menzies gets that pass out wide to Blanche. But Blanche is immediately shut down. David Howell across to help out Chris Melling deal with the threat. On the last, and the kick straight into the midriff of Luke Dawn. It's not a good one. and Dawn will run it back.
Dominant.
And that's the difference between the two sides. Luke Dawn catches the ball on the full. They're already on the 40-metre line, the Quins. When Catalan are receiving the pass, they're very much under the pump, maybe 10 metres away from their own line in scatter defence.
Here is O'Callaghan now, but 3 there to meet him, including Sebastian Ragan. He makes the tackle.
Go.
Ellis is back on. Now Tony Clubb. Clubb has Muniz all over him as he tries to get to his feet. Gale. Dawn. Great hands from Randall and Ellis to Ward, and Ward out wide to Burnett, and Burnett managing to shrug off the challenge of Damien Blanche and still keep it going, Mike Burnett, but then he's lost the ball and the referee says that's a penalty. There's a hand in there.
Yeah. That's a tackle.
Henderson says moi, or words to that effect.
A huge call here. I think it was the last tackle as well. Ball falls free.
It doesn't fall, it pings out, doesn't it, Phil? I think that's where, if there is any defence for the referee, maybe getting it wrong. It's because it comes out at such pace.
So this is a great opportunity for Harlequins, and just going back to that earlier point, since Luke Gale got his second try, they really haven't had much in the way of chances. They've had to do a lot of defending, but now they've got the Catalan Dragons in defensive mode as Purdom takes it through, and Purdom's still going. And they're offside, says the referee. Emphatically, Robert Hicks.
Hang on. Hold in your line.
Don't argue with Robert Hicks about points of law. He's a qualified solicitor. Here is Kuparitsas.
Dominant one.
Former Sydney Rooster, Nick Kuparitsas. Randall. Wilkes.
Well, it's essential here that the Dragons hold on. In the low-scoring game, I can't see them scoring 3 tries to win. Can they hold out for one more set?
Oh, well, they'll get the ball back here. It's swooped on by Cyril Gossard.
One came off his leg. Move. Go.
And then Lapini Pia plays the ball. Gigo.
Well, he's had a fine game, hasn't he, Luke Gale? But that was
10 metres, go.
an error that has really taken off the pressure. Catalans again, they're really bossing the ruck at the moment, but this Harlequins defence is very, very tight indeed.
It's good defence from Melling this time, in off his wing to make the tackle on Ben Farrah. Fakir now, and Fakir has lost that ball, and he's got the penalty, says the referee. Danny Ward was the culprit, says Robert Hicks.
It's a very difficult decision in the game of rugby league, and if the referee to make. He did seem to put his arm around the ball, and frustration here now for Danny Ward. They've gone from one end of the field, now they're in reverse. If this kick finds touch in a good position, this is an opportunity here now, and sometimes the team have to seize a moment. This is the moment in the match. If Catalan want to give themselves a chance of going home with 2 points on the league table, they need to show it soon.
So they're 12 metres out now. Got plenty of tackles in the bag. They're again exploring that Harlequins left-hand side, and that's great work, but a knock-on. It was Chad Randall who was battling for the ball, then arguing the toss with Robert Hicks. Says he went for the arm, and he did.
That should have been play on.
I don't like that. I don't know what anybody else thinks. I see that as something we don't need in our game.
It is scrappy play, isn't it? It's not good to watch. I take Brian's point there. Barry's point, sorry. But this situation...
I know we've had a bit of a break, but that's Barry, that's Steve-O, I'm Bill.
Hang on. Let's get everybody in before we put the ball in.
Take your point.
Come on, boys, sort it out.
Head and feed to the Catalan Dragons from that intervention from Chad Randall. And Gigo, this is must-score time, surely, and a high tackle that time from Wilkes, and Cyril Gossard didn't like that one.
Went off the ball and into the chip. No.
And Harlequins just maybe beginning to show a bit of the pressure now. Maybe One or two cracks showing. And Wilkes came hurtling out of the line there to make that tackle, and he's down again.
Well, it was Oliver Wilkes who gave the penalty away, and you're right, hurtling is the right word. He hasn't moved, he seems to be touching his mouth or his jaw. Just catches Ferriol, dare I say it, on his forearm or something worse.
I think it might be the elbow.
Yeah,
it's connected the elbow there, and pain factor just came in, split second after that.
It's either a couple of teeth or a nose or something similar.
If you're looking at this Catalan side, though, Barry, who do you think can find a way over the try line? My favourite would have to be Steve Menzies. He's the most dangerous player, still has that footwork that puts himself in between attackers. And I would say, again, if they go to the right-hand side, that's where Harlequins need to focus most of their defensive effort, preventing action around Menzies.
Absolutely, I'm a big fan of Damien Blanche. I don't think he's going to score an 80-metre try, but if you get him close enough, he will find a way to get over the line.
Well, can Catalan get over the line from this situation? Bang in front of those posts, 10 metres out as they play the ball, and Henderson, as they go even closer, serves it up to Gigot now, the young man who's going to get plenty of opportunities for the Catalan Dragons this season with all the departures and changes at the club. Now here is Cyril Gossard, and Gossard, good step from him. And nobody there in support. 4 tackles gone, and Harlequins getting some good defensive practice in this game, really, since they took the 10-0 lead. That's the 5th tackle. Fakir is stopped. It was Purdon with the tackle. Now then, Scott Giroux, what's he going to come up with? This time they're running it. Greenshields, the little kick in is too strong from Ben Farah, and Harlequins breathe a sigh of relief, or suck in the air in actual fact, as one or two of their players do, their hands on their knees.
Again, great defence by Harlequins. They are really disciplined in that department today.
Well, after their pre-season friendly against Lee Centurions, Rob Powell wasn't happy with the defensive effort. He'll be a lot happier with this defensive stint. They conceded 26 points against the Centurions. So far, they've kept the Catalan Dragons pointless as Clubb gets to his feet to play the ball and then gives the verbals to the referee. Not a good idea.
I think they're still with a quarter of the game remaining, 20 minutes of the final quarter still left to play. I think that the Harlequins would love another 4 or 6 points here, just to take some pressure off themselves here. Almost an hour since they last scored, and the kick to the corner is another patient one.
Not the best, though, from Chad Randall. Greenshields. Gale went a bit high there, and in the end the penalty is conceded. Is this desperation maybe starting to show from Harlequins?
Well, they're getting a little nervous, aren't they? The kicks to the corner, or maybe it's a patient approach, but if Catalan get one try, one or two of their players have the ability, Clint Greenshields, Steve Menzies, Damien Blanche, to really come up with something special and find a second, although the ball lost out the back there. Well, that's atrocious.
It was Fakir who couldn't keep a control of it. 5-2 the penalty count in favour of the Catalan Dragons in this second half. Just shows how the pendulum has swung in their favour. Kuparitsas with the fancy footwork, and then has a word with Menzies as he gets to his feet. Harlequins glad to be up at this end of the field for a change, and Gale, all the points to him so far in this game, and now it's with Tony Clubb. Clubb is eventually taken to ground by the Dragons defenders. Here's Luke Ambler, Leeds Rhinos player on loan for the duration of the season with Harlequins. An opportunity too for him to get some game time as Gale gets another point to his tally with that one-pointer, just to extend the Quins' lead. But 11-0 isn't exactly gold-plated victory status, I'd have said.
Smart play, though. The standoff realises that they were getting nowhere. The Catalan defence has been pretty solid in the second half, and that could be the game breaker.
Do you know, when Chad Randall took a drive in, I thought they may have been looking for a drop goal. Maybe it took them 2 or 3 chances to get back. I don't know whether that's negative with this many minutes left on the clock. Phil, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't see a big advantage between 10 and 11 points, but what I don't see either is any body language from the Catalan Dragons, which implies that they're really that interested in getting back to win this game. They stroll back up to the halfway line. It's a deepish kick-off here, really, but you haven't seen that much, really. They started the second half with some enthusiasm, but more recently they haven't, I don't think, had the desire to win this game, nor should they deserve to with the way they've played so far.
I think the new coach, Trent Robinson, has to get the message out to the likes of Clint Greenshields. He's got the ability to do that. We haven't seen him chime into the three-quarter line that we've seen over the past couple of seasons. And again, too quick off the mark has allowed the Quins another 30, 40 metres downfield. And it's getting to that point now where the French outfit will start to get frustrated. That's when the error count will rise.
Wilkes recovered from that knock he took a while ago, the bang to the jaw.
Hold, wait, go.
Runs strongly for Harlequins, Ollie Wilkes, but he's looking to the sidelines, and in fact I think he might have earned himself a breather.
Olsi Krasnicki replacing him. Ollie Wilkes worked really hard. Another one of those young players coming off the production line at the Quins club.
Olsi Krasnicki, though, on the field just as Harlequins lose possession and gift it back to the Catalan Dragons. And then there's an elbow used, I think, by Cyril Gossard. Robert Hicks saw that and immediately whistled, led with the elbow.
Well, they've scripted their own downfall, haven't they? A few minutes ago, Jamal Fakir lost possession on the first half there. Clearly the elbow driven into Krasnicki's underneath his jaw. That has to be a penalty.
Oh, it's going from bad to worse, this is, for the Catalan Dragons. They've lost a player stretchered off. Thankfully, Seta Matassar is back on his feet. Now they've got Cyril Gossard on report.
Well, I'm
and the
surprised.
penalty conceded.
There's an opportunity perhaps to kick at goal as well. I mean, from 11 to 13, you do have an advantage. Good run by Krasnicki. He played well for the England under-18 side against the Australian schoolboys just before Christmas.
Wouldn't surprise me if they set up for another field goal.
Here is Luke Ambler now. Krasnicki has that left leg, left knee very heavily strapped, but it's more precautionary. Harlequins, though, well, if they are setting up for 1 point, they've got to come back across the field. Kuparitsas, and now it's Ambler. And Gale is, if it is Gale, he's not put himself in position for it. Because here is Gale, and Gale fires the pass in. He was looking for Club, and instead it's gone to Gigot. And Gigot, has he got the legs? I don't think so, but he might have the footwork. He's got away already.
Play on! One.
Well, he's outnumbered about 9-1. Harlequins plays. The only Catalan man alongside him was Clint Greenshields. Not enough of the players in support to offer themselves a chance of scoring, even on the next play.
Problems for Andy Ellis. He's down with what looks like a wrist injury, where we saw Danny Brough in the first game have the legs from that sort of situation. Now then, they might have the legs. Ben Farrow, though, is tackled. He had Blanche outside him but couldn't get the ball to him. Blanche takes him on himself, but that's good defence, gets the pass away. Menzies, though, is initially bottled up, then comes across the field. The referee cries held, and Menzies a split second later releases the ball, and Robert Hicks, oh, it's cruel, that is cruel. Penalty goes against the Catalan Dragons.
He just manages to get his arm away here, offloads the ball to Henderson, who may give him a shout. I'm not so sure that he's not within his rights to get rid of that ball.
I called held and you passed the ball. It's a penalty.
Menzies ever so politely just questioning that decision.
I think that's play on, me.
Don't wave your arms.
Well, if the player has the ability to do that, then it really is harsh to penalise him.
In one breath, we want a quick game, don't we? If the referee allows the tackle to go on for too long without calling held, it slows down the restart of play. He's called it there, and there has been a late offload, so that's a dilemma that the official has.
I'm going to throw one at you. If that's David Solomona, are you waiting for him to offload the ball.
That's a fair point. There are certain players where you'd anticipate that might happen.
Well, you'll have to do it for all players, in which case you'll have to give them 3, 4, 5 seconds before you decide that the tackle's complete.
I think we've lost offloads in this game. Last year we lost them. We lost offloads in contact and through contact, and it's a skill that we have in this game.
Rob Purdom, that's the 5th tackle. Long way out if they're going to go for 1 point here. Or they just chip that kick into the corner as Kuparitzas does, and it's not a good one. They'll be back on the 20, and that's really not a satisfactory end to that set of 6 for Harlequins.
Poor option. They really should have gone for the high bomb. Surprisingly, as I mentioned before, that they didn't go for the 1 point. Stretch it to 12-0. Give them a little bit more of a buffer.
Harlequins only 11 points to 0 ahead, still within range of this Catalan Dragons side, but now the clock is against the Dragons, but they get the penalty. Kuparitzas, the Greek international, the player penalised.
You just get the impression that Quins are tiring badly, and they hang on. That's the big question now, and great opportunity for the French outfit.
He's been one of the best for Catalan. He has ran strong and defended strong. You talk about offloads, he's looking to get rid of the ball. Maybe a few more numbers around him when he takes it forward.
Go.
That's good work to halt the progress of Henderson. It was Kuparitzas, and here's Muniz, the most experienced player in this Catalan Dragon side. A little knock on Green Shields just as he was looking to maybe find a player in support. Couldn't get the pass away.
Well, it's a shame that obviously Green Shields fully aware that he's got to get himself more involved. Just couldn't hang on to it.
You can't go from the bottom to the top overnight. And I think the Catalan Dragons have seen here now the amount of work they're going to have to do over the next 6, 7, 8 months if they do want to make it to the playoffs. They really dropped down, didn't they, from where they'd been in 2009. Last year they bottomed out to 2010, but it's on evidence of today. It's going to take them quite a while to make their way back up that Super League ladder.
Bosk still to come back for the Dragons, of course, big influence on how they perform. And Trent Robinson still looking to make his mark with this side, as is Rob Powell with Harlequins, but satisfactory first 68, 69 minutes for Rob Powell. The rugby league enthusiast from Sheffield, who's gone from Newcastle University player then coach to coach of a Super League side. Here is Olsi Krasnicki. There's another Albanian coming through the ranks, apparently, at Harlequins. Erjan Delapio is another player who's very highly rated. They've tapped in to the Albanian market of Harlequins. They've got a poll on the books as well.
I think the Eastern European market is a strong one, really. We've seen in Rugby Union, Georgia, places like that, have some strong, powerful players.
After the late Norman Wisdom, Olsi Krasnicki is the most famous British person in Albania. It's Catalan, a weary Catalan side, coming up to the last 10 minutes.
There's still a chance for some real drama in this match. We could be going home saying you'd never imagine the Dragons were going to win 12-11. There's still the potential.
Oh, you fancy if they get
one. I
do
do fancy they could get two. They need to get it and convert. Scott Narrow throws it to Damien Blanche. I've seen enough of players like Blanche and Greenshields, Menzies, over the last 10 years to know that they can come up with a special play, but they need it within the next 5 minutes.
I'm with you, Phil. There's a bit too much walking though from the Catalan side. They're not playing touch and pass. They're not playing tag rugby.
Ragan with the offload, but his winger had come back in field, and Cyril Stakul wasn't there. But even if he had been, I don't fancy his chances, because there was would have been nowhere for Stakul to go.
Perhaps said that they've not respected possession enough today. That's not one of the ones I would be critical of, but on other occasions they've thrown the ball away cheaply and not been able to build any pressure, spend enough time, I don't think, near Harlequins' line.
So head and feed to Harlequins.
Just let everyone get in before you put it in.
And into the last 10 minutes.
Get in, guys, let's get in. Let's get going.
Luke Gale.
Get in. Ball in, please.
Just strolling leisurely to that scrum. Here's Jamie O'Callaghan.
Move! Hold.
Luke Dawn. What are the chances of Dawn popping up for the match-deciding try?
Move! Go.
Got 18 tries in 19 appearances last year, did Luke Dawn.
3. Move! Wait, Remy.
And he's always there, sniffing out the opportunities.
4. Move!
There's 4 tackles gone. As Howell plays the ball, Cooper Itzas. Here's Purdham. Tony Clubb away from the first challenger, flirting with the sidelines. That's the 5th tackle. And Gale puts his hand up for the ball, has time to place the kick. There wasn't really much pressure on him. Blanche comes for it, gets there in the nick of time, but so too does Lamont Bryan to hound him down and make the tackle.
Well, when you go back and look at this game again, the number of times that Harlequins in the second half were able to put the ball into that sector of the field between Blanche and Greensfields, that over on that far side, within 10 metres of the try line, has perhaps been the reason why they will go on to win it. The number of times they've said to Catalan, if you want to score, you're going to have to go 90 metres in 6 plays, and the Dragons haven't been capable.
That's a good offload from Gigot, found Henderson. 4 tackles gone, still deep in their own half. They need something to inspire them, like a strong run or maybe a 40-20. But Casti, well, that's good work from Remy Casti.
Movement!
That's why he's earmarked as a future leader by Trent Robinson. Scott Durow, little chip, straight into the hands of Cooper Itzas. Now then, has Coops got the pace? I don't think he has, but he's going in the right direction, and that's good enough for Harlequins, and he's still going, Cooper Itzas.
He did the right thing, did not panic, realised they got an 11-0 lead.
Hold, get square.
This is very clever play.
Well, that was more by luck than judgment from Nick Cooper Itzas, although he'll say to the contrary, that ball just stuck in his hands, but it's given Harlequins a real boost now.
Just drive to the post and pop over the one-pointer. Simple as that.
Steve, go.
Luke Ambler doing just that, and Ambler,
4.
well, it was the Catalan defence who were ambling there as he approached. And here is Dawn, and Dawn, will he get on the score sheet? He's over the try line. Is he down? Referee Robert Hicks says he was held up.
Is this last? I don't need to go to the video, mate. You didn't get it down.
Robert Hicks,
Right.
deaf to the pleas of Luke Dawn to go to the video ref.
Well, it hasn't, does it? It was a 4th tackle. They go back 10 metres here to play the ball again.
Last. Time back on. Last.
On the last tackle, here is Ambler. Burnett gets the pass out wide. Very nearly a balletic try.
Well, it's a tap restart on the 20. Harlequins, they've got to get back in position now. The Catalan Dragons here now, just under 6 minutes remaining as they're stretched out wide, but Mellon can't get in possession and score in the corner.
Move!
Still time for the Catalan Dragons to do some damage. Jean-Philippe Bale is on the field. Maybe haven't seen enough of him for the Catalan Dragons. Usually has a big impact for them.
Let's not forget he started the game in the hooking role, and we could be critical here and say that there are some tired players.
Blanche is away, Blanche with a little kick ahead, but Dawn is there, and Dawn dicing with it.
Very fortunate indeed. He looked so relaxed, so much so that he nearly gifted a try there. Damien Blanche was hunting.
The point I was going to make, we might look at this game and say there are some tired players here, some mistakes being made that ordinarily wouldn't be, and when we get to the midpoint or a little bit further on, these players won't physically look the same. Don't underestimate how difficult pre-season is and how hard it is for coaches to plan to coach those players into intense machines that can function from minute 1 to minute 80.
Into the last 5 minutes then here in Cardiff, and Harlequins, who won only one of the last 7 games at the end of last season, looking on course for their first win of this new campaign and going for a 40-20. No, out on the full. Chad Randall indicating what he was trying to do, but it didn't come off.
I think that's the first time there's been a poor kick, you'd say. 75 minutes into the match, almost 76. The majority of them have had high quality to them and dangerous, threatening to start the game, ground gaining later on. This one now, well, I think it's a little too late now for the Catalan Dragons.
Remy Casti takes the ball up. If Harlequins can nil the Catalan Dragons, to nil your first opponents of the season, that is some achievement. But Catalan haven't given up hope. Menzies take the pass, which looked a shade forward from Gigot. Here is Gigot again, and Gigot, that pass went forward again, and again Harlequins just doing enough to put the man off. Lamont Bryan, little skip from him, and then takes the ball into the tackle. It was good intervention, I think, here from Chad Randall.
Putting his hands on the passes.
Dominant. 3. Stand up. Go.
Here is Danny Ward. Well, this is this new look side, new coach at Harlequins, a new look side, still getting to know each other. Players on loan like Luke Ambler there, Mike Burnett.
Nice play by Ambler onto Lamont Bryan. You know, every team's happy at the end of pre-season. They all say it's tend to have gone well. Penalty here against Lamont Bryan.
A weary Lamont Bryan not playing the ball correctly, looks puzzled by that decision from Robert Hicks.
But after the first round of fixtures, 7 teams have won a game and 7 teams have lost, and that tends to make a difference to the camp.
Well, the tackle was not completed. This has got to be the last chance now for the French outfit. They've got to test their arm, keep the ball alive. But again, Quinn's defence, it's been the key factor.
Wait. Go.
Jean-Philippe Bale, here's Scott Dureau now. Dureau finds Farah. Farah finds Blanche, and Blanche squeezes in at the corner. Touch judge happy with that.
Okay.
And eventually the Catalans crack this Harlequins defence. And Blanche doing what he does ever so well. Barry was saying earlier on that from close range this guy is very, very dangerous and very hard to stop in those close quarter situations.
Well, it's a try with a great degree of skill and difficulty. Flick out the back to Damien Blanche. He has to get outside his man. The timing is important here for the winger. That's a lesson for anybody watching, and Blanche's is perfect. I'm talking about timing. He's had about 15 seconds here, Scott Dureau, after making this pass, to go and pick up the ball from the in-goal area. Blanche leaves it there, get back 20 metres or so, tee up the ball and get ready to kick it. For a kick, really, which is essential if they're to go have any chance of gaining a point or more from the match.
Right on the sidelines for Scott Dureau. And off target, and now it really is a tall order for the Catalan Dragons. The clock against them, that scoreline against them. Need 2 scores now to overhaul Harlequins or even get level. Damien Blanche has given them a glimmer of hope, but a minute, not enough. And Harlequins are going to hang on, and they have been hanging on. Scored all their points in the opening 6 minutes of the game. All of them, or most of them, through in the first 6 minutes through Luke Gale. Then just this second half drop goal from Gale.
Time back on.
And they've spent an awful lot of time defending. As Dawn restarts, Bale is underneath it, and the Catalan Dragons, August the 1st, their last victory in Super League, and it looks as though they're going to be still waiting. That ball is still in play, it's not, and Stackel just couldn't keep it in, but they get head and feet at the scrum. Can they get the scrum formed in time to get the clock stopped?
Well, look how keen they are now to form a scrum. Where was that for the last 80 minutes?
It was a nice try, though.
Where was that enthusiasm in either attack or defence?
Come on, let's get ready.
And
that desperation.
And when that kick was put through, there was 2 Catalan players who just looked at the ball bobbling away.
You need that in the first half, in the first 10 minutes, in the last 10 minutes of the first half as well.
Stand up. Right, he couldn't get in. Get in now. Get in. Go in. Out.
So in the last minute of the game, sloppy scrum, but Catalan keep the ball. Sloppy probably sums up this Catalan performance at times.
Move.
Ben Farah, who set up that try for Damien Blanche, plays the ball. He and Chad Randall just having a little shove in back play. Kick goes up, Ragan underneath it, so is Jamie O'Callaghan. He'll secure possession for Harlequins, and Harlequins will secure the victory. And they celebrate. It's been hard-earned. And Luke Gale has got all their points, but the new coach is off the mark. And Quins, who got within a minute of nilling aside for the first time in 3 years, will still be delighted to go in with an 11-4 victory against the Catalan Dragons.
Yes, a great start for Rob Powell. In actual fact, of course, the match was won in the opening 8-9 minutes or so, when Luke Gale went in for his 2 tries and kicked one of the conversions. But 11-4, a great start for Rob Powell and a great start for Harlequins. For Catalan Dragons, well, they really will need to improve, and their kicking game in the match was almost non-existent. That's some work that Trent Robinson, the new coach, will have to do.